Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome, astrology friends and family. Welcome to August. Eclipse activity starts now, and also we are in the thick of Mercury retrograde shenanigans as my neighbor's mowing his lawn. Maybe I can edit this out later. Anyway, we're just going to go with it. Yeah, so we're dealing with a lot of planets in retrograde. The outer planets are in retrograde. We have Saturn, Pluto, Uranus will start to retrograde in September. Mercury will be retrograding August 4th, and we won't clear shadow period until somewhere near the mid of September. Also, we'll be getting into the Chiron retrograde soon as well, too. Okay, so let's try and have fun while we can. Leo season, the next few weeks are the time to really keep enjoying, especially with everything slowing down. Vacation when and where we can, time spent with children, having fun, theater, outdoor theater, concerts, putting yourself out there, leadership in the community. Don't be afraid to take those chances, put yourself out there, put your work out there, your creativity. Now's the time with all this goodness in Leo. Love Leo season. I'm an Aquarius rising, so naturally I'm always, loving all things Leo. They're my other end of the spectrum there. Okay, let's get into the eclipses because you will start to be feeling some of this eclipse activity now. The eclipse will happen in September, but as you may already be aware, the feelings and rumblings of eclipse activity can start happening about a month before, and then it usually kicks off a new 6-month cycle until you have the eclipse in the opposite sign. What we're going to be experiencing is kind of the fading out of the Aries Libra eclipses. The last Libra eclipse will be in September, and the last Aries eclipse will be next March 2025. So we still have, several months to work on those themes of that axis if things haven't been accomplished yet in those areas. We also have Chiron still in Aries as well. Okay, so on September 17th, 2024, we're going to have a full moon partial lunar eclipse in Pisces at, let me check, 25 degrees. And this will be affecting those born with Pisces or Virgo placements anywhere from 21 to 29 degrees and 0 to 1 degrees of the cardinal signs, which are Cancer, Capricorn, mom and dad, Aries, the warrior, and Libra, the lover. All right, the eclipse will start to highlight all the things that are Pisces, Virgo, prior to the nodes shifting into those signs by next spring. We will have the nodes of fate and one last set of eclipses wrapping up, like I mentioned, on the Aries, Libra axis for the next 6 months. Okay, so knowing that, this activity can be felt now, I just kind of wanted to talk about that, especially with so many planets being retrograde. Yeah, okay, so in the Pisces area of our charts is where we are going to see some of this activity. After having so much Aries self-directed energy over the past year, pushing us to take initiative and propelling us forward in that Aries part of our sky, and also healing a wound since Chiron has been there. We could have started to be aware of that and started working on that in the past year or so. And like I said, if you haven't done so yet or initiated something of great importance to you yet, don't worry. There are still several months left of this Aries Libra story, especially with Chiron and then also, the nodes of fate and the eclipses happening there as well. So what does this mean? So we will now be taking in and further integrating, the healing process, especially with Pisces and Neptune coming into the picture, forcing us to kind of slow down and integrate those changes that have been coming in internally or externally, slowly or rapidly over the past year. Rahu, the North Node, can speed things up. If you started your own business, for example, that would be like a very self-initiated Aries type of thing. Now and in the next year and a half, you could be developing like a sacred space in your home or devoting a special space to work in that, you can paint and decorate, plants, Doesn't have to be just for business either. It could be a sacred space you use just as your own, like getaway, quiet time to meditate, rest, writing, creativity, listen to music, to I don't care if you just go there to daydream. It will be a really great thing to do. All right. And though, although with Saturn here in Pisces until 2026, he's structuring those dreams to help you make them come true. So any kind of like blockages you feel that you may come up against with Saturn there in Pisces, it's only to slow you down to make sure that the things that you're putting into place are solid and stable and can withstand the test of time. That's what Saturn likes anyway. The other end of this axis is Virgo. And Virgo will help you. Virgo will help you organize yourself to make those Pisces creative dreams come true. You can pull your projects out of the ethers and put them onto paper, to film, to clay, to actual music, to whatever it is that is your creative inspiration or muse. Lunar eclipses also can be a very emotional time. They can trigger relationship endings or breakthroughs, and even good breakthroughs can be emotional. I feel this time and over the next year and a half, we can really find our way through that Aries wound that we've had, or maybe we didn't even realize that we had it. For example, like maybe Chiron in Aries has been transiting through your second house of self-worth and your face and your earnings, your bank account, what you put into your mouth, and maybe you realize you didn't know that you had a bad habit relating to food, and it's kind of come up to be looked at over the past year or so. Maybe you have an allergy that you found out you had and you didn't know it based on what you were eating, and now you have this time to kind of start integrating those changes. Pisces is very healing, heal your body or whatever might have ailed you. So we could really maybe start to make progress in standing up for ourselves as well. Aries is a warrior. Is not afraid of standing up for himself, herself. We can also have been learning how to not be codependent, and maybe we're starting to make our own money instead of depending on another. Maybe we're healing long-standing relationship issues or issues about self-worth, your body, your identity. These types of healing changes can be very emotional and even in a good way. And if you haven't, like I mentioned, seen these changes yet, not to worry. We still have several months left with the nodes of fate, Chiron, and the eclipses here to help you quickly make changes for the better in the Aries Libra part of your sky. Kind of grand finale next March 2025. This Pisces eclipse is the first in the cycle, and it's possibly just highlighting or giving that first little nudge of awareness or discontent around emotions, spirituality, relationships, as full moons and lunar eclipses can relate to relationships, your home, your family, motherhood, mothering, as the moon rules Cancer. And anytime you have lunar eclipses, you always kind of look to the Cancer part of your sky and see how that area is being triggered at that time as well. Crisis can happen as we are made aware of imbalances in these areas as well. Some relationships can end for new ones to begin if there's been trouble in those areas. And on the other side, if there have been problems that are being brought to light at the time of this full moon, there may be a path forward to find some healing, and maybe you can grow and progress together if that is something that you're in a relationship and you would want to work on. There can also be fulfillment of creative projects or drama at the time of the full moon, especially with it being the first in this new eclipse cycle. You can also get sudden dreams, downloads, or inspirations about creative projects, music, acting, film, etc. How to help maybe marginalized people's issues with the ocean, or maybe you want to start a nonprofit or become part of a nonprofit that helps ocean animals or comes up with fishing net solutions or oil spills. And really interesting note on that, just to kind of show you how the stuff is already starting to come into play, is I went to go get my hair trimmed the other day, and what I found out was kind of cool is that they charge an extra $2, a $2 fee when you're getting your hair, cut colored, whatever. And what they do is they use the clippings from the salon to make these hair mats that then are used to soak up oil spills in the ocean. And they're really effective at it as well. They just kind of, and there's a video you can watch online where you can see that, there's the oil spill, which is horrible. And they put these like hair mats in and it just kind of sucks it up. So already we're going to start seeing these types of things come to the forefront, which I'm really excited about because who doesn't love the ocean, right? Um, know that if you do come up with or receive, inspiration downloads that you should act on them not at the time of the full moon, but act on them as in like writing them down. Keep a pen or your tablet or whatever it is you use to write on at the ready starting now. Know that these will be divinely guided, divine downloads. Um, I don't think there'll be anything coincidental about this. Also, with this being the Pisces Virgo axis, and Virgo rules health and organization and service, work, pets, we could have health challenges that might come up to the surface at this time to be healed, or we could have endings to jobs that no longer serve our well being. With new paths being illuminated to more fulfilling work, or spiritual paths might come through. Maybe you find a need in your community and you decide, you know what, I'm done with administrative work and I want to create my own or nonprofit or become a founder of my own nonprofit and helping children in my community who suffer from, not having enough to eat or clothing or school supplies. And you can start a small movement there, and that would be a really beautiful thing to do. So, just an idea. Okay. Also, what are some other things that can happen? This is also the other end because we're talking about the sixth house and the 12th house axis. Sixth house also represents small pets, and that's in the Virgo house. A pet can have issues or pass at this time if they've been struggling with health issues, but also a new one can come in. New fated pet, and fears and addictions can come up at this time as well. 12th house does represent addictions. And we can find ways to heal our mind, especially with Virgo at the opposite end. We can look for and find a great and destined healer at this time. The Virgo axis can also help you get organized and clean up that area of your life if you are suffering from addictions or bad health habits, and get yourself pulled together, especially if you were in your head too much, or also if you've been unable to pull your dreams, out of the ethers or from your Neptune haze, those ideas and dreams can get lost up there. And Virgo's really good at solidifying things and making it happen. Excuse me. Let's see. Sometimes Virgo does strive for perfection and it can hamper our creativity. So we'll be working on trying to strike that balance, right, of the creativity and the day-to-day work and trying to balance the two. At this time, you can, and especially now, right in August, we can start meditating. Anything with like water therapy would be good. Prayer, if you pray, and it doesn't have to be religion, it could be whatever God you pray to. Epsom salts, you could clean up your auric field leading up to this full moon. I always suggest safest bet is nature, rest, sleep. I always try to aim for like 7 or 8 hours, and it's almost always a win, especially preparing for those jitters that you can start to get during eclipse activation periods. Having magnesium to root yourself down a little bit and to kind of root down and anchor your nervous system. Magnesium rich foods like black beans and sweet potato and stuff like that. But always check with your doctor or your dietitian if you have any kind of health issues or if you're unsure if you can eat those types of things. You can also make, little simple changes to your diet, like more water, fresh fruits, chemical-free food, vegetables. Try to do like a no alcohol. I know that might be hard for some, in these last beautiful weeks of summer that we'll be having. It's hard with barbecue or hanging out at the beach with friends, but maybe you can make a mocktail, something like that. Start working on a creative project. That's another great way to use this energy. Jot down those major insights that can happen now. And this is also a really kind of interesting period where loved ones who have crossed over may start to appear or send messages to you in odd ways as the veil begins to thin. These are just some of the ideas that I'm giving you, and I will describe what the beginning of this new cycle means for each of you in all of the 12 signs. And I will also probably talk more in depth about it the closer we get to the eclipse. And, as we proceed with this, the shifts of the nodes and everything else. So, yeah, all right. Well, let's get started.
Hello, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. The Pisces partial lunar eclipse will happen in your third house of day-to-day mind, writing, small business, marketing, local travel, neighborhood, siblings, social media, elementary education, and the other end of this axis is your ninth house of Virgo. It's the higher mind, the loftier ideals and thoughts, higher education, legal contracts, doctors, lawyers, law, publishing, travel, foreigners. These houses make a sextile, Pisces, your third house, in a trine, Virgo, in your, ninth house, to your sun, moon, or ascendant. This axis will be feeling a lot lighter as the energies will shift from your foundation and roots, your ancestral roots, sometimes where we hold deep family wounding or in our ancestry of the fourth house, and where the focus has been since last July. The eclipse will be starting to show areas that may need adjusting or where there will be a wrapping up before something new can come in around business or writing projects, something as simple as vehicles. Maybe Neptune will be clouding these areas, making it hard to see the full picture at this time of what's revealed, as Neptune will be in the picture conjuncting this partial lunar eclipse. It's also a partial lunar eclipse, not fully revealing what's going on here. You may also be letting go of an old vehicle now as well on a lighter note. And you also may be embarking on more local travel or within your own country or local community, somewhere you can drive nearby, like a nearby state, starting in September. There could be a healing with siblings and family members after issues have maybe come up to be revealed at the time of this full moon partial lunar eclipse. You may also want to develop a skill set, but initially feel blocked. Saturn blocks and makes you work harder for things, and he's sitting over here in the third house where the eclipse activity will be happening, like learning a language or another skill-based activity. And at first it seems difficult, but by the time the eclipse series finishes up, you will have learned how to, for example, like speak a new language, learn a new skill. Saturn likes discipline and dedication, dedicated work in small, sustained doses. You can also be traveling to foreign, faraway shores a little bit less over the next 2 years and focusing more on like local travel. And maybe that's because you're focused on building a local business or a cottage industry or developing one. And it could possibly be with siblings or cousins and friends. You could also have a culmination about book writing or realize at this time this is something that you will want to do. And because this house looks up at the ninth of publishing, maybe by the time you're done writing, you'll be able to secure an agent. The balance will be about letting go of incorporating the higher ninth house and focusing on more of like the day-to-day life, community and business, daily work that you have to move around for, writing and communication projects. If you are a writer, you could be focused on like a children's fantasy book, for example, or starting a business around like water advocacy, as Neptune is involved here with the third house. On August 4th, the new moon in Leo at 12 degrees happens in your 8th house of shared resources, investments. It's also a house of where we store trauma. We could have deep bonding and intimacy with another here, death and transformation, inheritance, loans. Let me see, taxes, if I didn't already mention that. And it trines over to your 4th house of Aries, where Chiron and the North Node are currently sitting, trying to heal an old familial wound or patterning here. Maybe it's a childhood wound, and it's possible maybe it's not even yours, but it comes through an ancestral line that's coming up to be healed and transformed with a trusted therapist or healer. As the sun is also here, lighting up the shadowy realm of the 8th house, where we store our trauma and pain. Venus has been here trying to soothe and smooth these things out. And if you've had a therapist, they would have maybe been helping you through the process of everything and healing your mind in some way. As the sixth house is where Jupiter and Mars currently are in Gemini. And the sixth house represents service workers, healthcare professionals. And Jupiter here is a healing aspect, and we'll try over the next year until June 9th, 2025, to heal your body via diet, exercise. If you've been attached to self-undoing behaviors, drinking too much, eating too much, smoking too much, you can find a way to stop that now, find the right routine to get you healthier. You can also find more fulfilling work or an educational course that will put you on the path to more fulfilling work, make more money, as Jupiter does rule education. All these things can directly affect how you feel on a day-to-day basis. Alternatively, you could be moving in the next 6 months to a new home, and it would be like a fated and healing home with this new moon, trining over to the north node over here in Chiron. There could also just be like healing times being spent here at home and within the home. Mercury starts to go retrograde on August 4th until August 27th. In your ninth house of the higher mind on August 5th, Venus moves here into Virgo as well until August 29th. And I'm sorry, I hit a pause there. And on the 7th, what will happen is Venus and Mercury will form a conjunction at 3 degrees, and this will be in effect from August 5th through August 10th. Anywhere happening from 0 to 8 degrees, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising can feel this conjunction, or if you have any planets from 0 to 8 degrees in Virgo. And this could be highlighting, it's a very welcome aspect, a very beneficial one that could be highlighting a breakthrough of thought and mind after some heaviness may have been revealed in the 8th house. It can be an easy transition of your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, if things have been too heavy on and around these dates from August 5th to August 10th. Alternatively, we have positive planets moving from the 8th house heading to the 9th. And there could have been like deep, intimate bonding stories happening over the past few weeks while Venus, the Sun, and Mercury were in the 8th house. And Mercury will travel back by mid-August. It could be talks about intimacy and money or investment opportunities as well here. Money could have come in via 8th house, venues such as like a loan or money you didn't earn, like stocks or inheritance. And maybe now you're feeling a little bit happier with Venus and Mercury in the 9th house of expansive thoughts and higher mind. On August 19th, the full moon in Aquarius at 27 degrees is in your 2nd house of earnings, bank account, land, food that you eat, your mouth, throat, immediate family, and luxury goods. You could have realizations around the need for a better diet or to cut something out that's bad for you. Maybe at this time you have like a health realization or the realization that you need to quit a bad habit. Maybe something that you eat or that you drink affects your health negatively. You could also have, maybe money issues come up around self-worth, codependency, self-esteem. And these issues could be highlighted at this time, so they could be healed and let go of and seeing a new path forwards. On August 27th, we're going to end the month on a beautiful note with a trine from Uranus and Taurus in your 5th house of fun, luck, lottery wins, romance, children, making a sports and speculative gains as well, making a trine to Venus and Virgo at 27 degrees in your 9th house of luck, publishing, the public, higher thoughts, legal contracts, the mind, and anything difficult that came up at around the time of the full moon or earlier when you were having planets transiting. Leo can be soothed by having fun now, releasing pain easily and suddenly from that 8th house through love and romance, or releasing through a deep creative project that you're pouring yourself into or that you were reworking or that you had already worked on, and you can suddenly get recognition and popularity for that. There's also healing a self-worth wound in the 2nd house around a money story. This aspect trines this aspect forms a grand trine. My goodness, you can tell Mercury is already in shadow and affecting me as I'm recording. Anyway, this forms a grand trine, this aspect, a grand earth trine, with your first house, sun or moon, to the fifth house and to the ninth house, making this a beautiful way to end the month. These are all positive houses. The south house, the fifth house, the ninth house. Fifth and ninth are luck houses, as well as the 11th, but that one's not involved right now. I really think love and money can possibly find their way to you in some on this date. And again, this is the 27th of August, in a very like sudden, surprising Uranian type of way. It could come through like the internet. And this is also a good day to take a safe bet or a gamble in buying like a lotto ticket or just taking a chance in love. Okay, Capricorn, we'll see you in September.